Hello guys, and welcome to my channel, which we are about to review a video game that has been with me for a while now. I have played this game since I was 16, and I've been enjoying it ever since. Well, not ever since I was 16, but whenever I used to play, I think it was part of my childhood. So I want to talk about this right here. This is my first game review ever. So expect there to be a few issues with how I speak or how I really put out this game, because I am kind of biased towards games through a lot of labor through playing this game. Of course, I still play it to this day and I really enjoy it, so let me talk about it right now. Kingdom Come Deliverance, a medieval RPG that takes place in medieval Bohemia. Now, what's different about this game is that it's not fantasy driven. There's no dragons, there's no monsters, no goblins, there's no orcs or anything of freak of nature that will be in any games like, for example, Skyrim or The Witcher 3 or something similar to those games. What I find really detailing and really different about this game than the other games, it takes realism to a whole new different level. The architecture, the buildings, the absolute entire world itself, the vegetation, the little railings that has, like wooden railings or like wooden fences that has around houses and around roads sometimes. I think that is really appreciative of how people would love a game to be, especially when it defines their country or shows how things were back then in their country. Something like that. I'm pretty sure the Czech really appreciative of this game. I'm actually really a big enjoyer of Kingdom Come Deliverance myself. I played it so much, in fact, I started becoming way too good at pillaging places in game, being an evil Henry, but I don't do that all the time. I rather play this game as a good guy or a canonically accurate Henry, where you are the good guy and don't do much evil things in there. So, we are going to start with the pros and cons. I'm actually going to start with the cons first. Now, understand that putting out the pros in the very beginning will make the game look amazing and everything, like it shows how much of a gem it is. But I think I should take a different step here and put the cons first before I forget about them completely, because I'm very biased to this game, and I think that this game should absolutely be one of the top 10, not even top 10, somewhere in the top of games we have today, because of how well it actually is, how well they designed it, how well the missions are, how fun they are. We're going to get to that afterwards. We're going to talk about the cons of this game. Now, I understand that this game is not for everyone. The lockpicking is hard, pickpocketing is hard, everything about it is hard, it's kind of janky. It's a bit, different from your usual playstyle of games, and I agree. Because sometimes it will kind of get rid of the players' morale. They just don't want to do any of this anymore. I just want to get through the story and be done with this game completely, and I'll leave it alone because it feels frustrating, right? I think that the lockpicking system is pretty great, in my opinion, because I find it pretty fun to mess around with. Also like the pickpocketing system, because the more more levels you put on it, the more powerful Henry's fingers will be and grab everything that someone has. And they will not even know that it is gone before they see that it was gone. Now, those are not the main points. The main points is usually the combat in this game. Now, the combat can be summed into a different 5 sets of movements that you can do while attacking an enemy. You have 5 areas where you can hit the top, 2 bottoms, and 2 sides. This one system is pretty accurate, not really completely accurate, because usually when you look into medieval fighting, now I don't say this is completely accurate in how they fought before, because there's no real way that that was actually how it is, but the combos that they actually add into it make it so that it does feel more realistic than anything you've ever played before. What's realistic about the combat system is that when you're attacked by 3 or more people, you are starting to feel overwhelmed by all these people. So you either run away or use horse combat to get your way through. And what's difficult about combat in this game, however, is the fact that your opponent will be able to master strike you out of combos. Now, I understand this is a fault in a design of the game, but we can't really blame them because it has been like a while since they were able to like fix a lot of things in the game. But I mean, it's not really a thing to be fixed. I don't really have a problem with not being able to land a few combos or hit without I need to hit or do something like that, because it's just part of the game. It became part of the game a while since. Master strikes are a very overpowered mechanic that you can use yourself. So if you can use it yourself, then there's really no reason to feel pretty sorry about it. Now, one thing to note is that Master Strikes can get a little bit devious and boring. Because when you're trying to do combos, or when you're trying to practice on Sir Bernard, or any of the training, or any one of the fighting genre which will help you gain more experience in the battlefield, they will always do a Master Strike, and you cannot learn combos that way. I think that's a very bad way to introduce combos. They didn't really add anything to get rid of Master Strike or breaking a person's guard. They didn't add any of that. So I think that's a really big problem. They should have kind of helped with breaking guards and attacking whenever you need to. Because, I don't know, because it feels pretty bad. Because I can't really land a combo. Therefore, I do not have that much fun as I should be with this game. Because it's a perfectly beautiful game. It's an amazing game. I like the combat sometimes. But just not being able to land a hit to unleash a combo is a pretty boring thing for me, because I will know that my opponent will be able to master strike me their way out of the equation, and I will not be able to hit any combos at all. And sometimes I'm gonna tell you this. Sometimes even when I don't hit the exact areas where they told me, in the beginning they tell you switch up your moves so the opponent doesn't see you. Even if I've never hit there to begin with, if I didn't hit there to begin with, they will still master strike me. It feels like it's bugged in a way because you cannot force something like that. Even I started doing feint attacks. I even did feint attacks, and I switched up my area, and they were able to master strike me again. I think that is a pretty annoying little thing they kept doing with the combat. Like in combat, because I don't know how they're guessing my movements. I go from bottom, I hold it there for a few moments, and I go top, and I try and attack, and guess what? Master stricken, and I get kicked away from the opponent, and I cannot ensue any kind of combos after that because they will exactly know where I'm gonna hit next. That I hope that they will fix in the newer game, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, that's coming up. And I really hope that Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 will have more aggressive form of combat and a more fun way to break guards and attack and have more ways to do something about it, because I feel like that's the next step to making a better game than this one. Another con I have is horse battle. Now, horse fighting is not really a big issue for me. I can get on my horse and use my sword just fine. However, using a bow and arrow on horseback is the most difficult thing in the entire game so far. It's not because with the arrow, like the bow and arrow will swerve around and, move away from the opponent, I will miss every shot. But no, because you're trying to shoot someone from a horse, you're really running really fast, and we're trying to shoot an arrow, the horse will be, I don't think it will be moving too fast, but will start slowing down. Now, I think that's a pretty big, weird thing that they did in this game because horses do not slow down when they're trying to attack someone in other games or even in real life. They will actually speed up so you have an easier shot to deal with, so you are closer to a enemy, so you can just shoot and they're died. They be dead. I think that's another issue. Horseback bullfighting is another issue I have with this game. Another probably a pretty problematic issue I feel, but it's not really a big issue because I don't really have much of a bad thing about it, is the timing on quests. Now, this can be a good thing and a bad thing at the same time, because you cannot just leave Merhoya to suffer in a plague and just leave whenever you want and come back try and cure them because they'd be dead. In real lifetime, they'd all be dead. But what I have difficulty understanding is when you are waiting, like when you are in Kuno's camp. Now, this has just happened recently. I played Band of Bastards again. I played before and I did it again. This time I was talking around the camp, spending some time with the crew, getting Doombear, and then going back to Kuno. And when I talked, he said, "Oh, it's a bit too late, so you may as well sleep here." So I did wait on there. I waited for Kuno to wake up, and when I went to talk to him, he says, "Well, what took you so long? Oh, how many days are you gonna be out there?" Like, I've been waiting at the camp for one night, and he immediately attacked me with words that way because I apparently went to leave for a few days or something. I think that's a big problem because I think when quests are designed, like, you should give a few more days. Like, you should give like more hours to be spent before they start getting annoyed about you. But that's not the problem I have with any of that. The timing quest is pretty steep, because waiting can get a bit annoying, because waiting will take longer than you would just doing other quests instead. Okay, don't get me wrong, I actually love the waiting mechanic because it makes sense. Like, it's a bit slow, but it's also quick, so because you're waiting and you're just sitting there doing nothing, and the time kind of goes around pretty quickly, but also pretty slowly because it is still hours spent in the game than what you're seeing in real life. So I think that's a good thing, but overall, I think when it goes to an hour mark and it starts slowly moving, it grinds my gears, bro. I'm waiting so long for this. It literally takes 30 seconds more than the entire thing to go. I think I really get annoyed when it goes to the 1 hour mark and it starts slowly inching towards the finish line. Speaking of waiting in quests, I actually don't mind it at all. But when I just want to be done with something, and I'm waiting for the shops to open up in that house, that's kind of annoying to me. I don't know why, but it kind of is. But let's go to the pros. This game has an experience that no other game will probably give you. You have choices. You literally have the ability to fail quests and not get any rewards out of it. You have the ability to do a lot of things as well. Maybe you can get a new horse, which I would never get rid of Pebbles. Let me tell you, Pebbles, the best horse in the game. Do not at me on that because I know it's true. You can get new horses, you can get better armor, you can even grind your way to become the richest man in Bohemia, because it makes sense for a common peasant blacksmith's boy or son to have 100,000 groschen end game, because he has went to Scouts a few times and killed the bandits there and stole their and took their loot. That means their armor, and went to sell it to the armor smith. That makes complete total sense. It's very easy, and it's an easy way to make money even in old Bohemia. I can tell you that. But people who think that this game is pretty slow, I don't think they understand what the game actually is about, because you have two ways you can play this game. Incredibly slow, you can just do whatever you want, or two, you could start trying to work around the game. So that means like you go trying to fix your combat, fight with Bernard, learn some combos and master strikes with Bernard, and you start breezing through the game really quickly because now you have more of a hang with the combat, and you just do the main quests and you're pretty much done from there. I think that's the quickest route in Kingdom Come Deliverance, but taking it slow can also have its benefits. Maybe you don't want to go fighting yet, maybe you want to work on other things. Maybe you want to learn to read. There is a quest for Henry to learn to read. Yes, Henry is a stupid bum. He does not know how to read. He does not know how to do anything with his life because obviously he's a peasant. He does not know anything. He was born with literally nothing. And he still has nothing, mind you. So, what about reading and how does it benefit you? Well, reading actually benefits you with leveling up your skills. Now, this could be looked at in a different standpoint because when you read something, you have to have the same level, the same amount of level that your character has. So let's say you have 10 levels in maintenance. You cannot grab a maintenance book that is required to be 15 levels of maintenance and read it right out loud and you immediately get a level up or 2 level ups even. It's not like that. You have to actually work on your skill before you get to that point. This has the same systems as the one in training with a few people that are more good with their crafts. Meaning, if you were to go to the armor smith in Ratai and ask him to train your maintenance, he will not be able to train you at the very level you want him to train you at. Meaning, you cannot just pay for a bunch of free levels because I had the money for it. You actually have to train yourself. You have to invest more time with Henry to get to that skill level. But why is reading a very good skill, may I ask? Because of the perks it has. You can increase your speech when you're caught by a guard and he wants some ransom and you were like, oh, I don't want to pay this guy. I'm just going to persuade my speech that is increased by my level of reading and the perks I have with that reading. That means magistrate. That perk, those 3 perks actually give you a higher amount of speech every time you get caught by a guard. That means you have an easier time persuading them. Albeit, if you murder an entire townspeople and the guard catches you, you can't get out of there with anything. You cannot persuade them to leave you alone. So you will have to probably spend more time in jail. But other than that, reading is a very good skill to get you up high. Up high, And if you are more into alchemy, you can still train alchemy. You can still work on alchemy, and so reading also helps with that, because I'm pretty sure there are skill levels in alchemy you can get through reading a few books. Now, the pen is mightier than the sword, as the game implies. But there's also other ways you can increase your power and your skill as a character, as well as other things that you can use for combat. That goes to the warfare skill. The warfare skill gives you the abilities to just destroy just about anything that's crossing your way, because that's how you determine your skills as Henry, the son of a blacksmith. What makes this skill so daunting is because you have to fight to gain more levels on it. But how am I going to be able to get more levels on it if I had to fight and I'll lose every single time? Well, that's why Captain Bernard is there for you. You see, Captain Bernard lets you train with fake practice weapons, wooden swords, and wooden axes, as well as maces. Well, to be honest, it's just bludgeons at that point, because the maces, for some reason, still do a lot of damage to you, even when, well, they're wooden. So they still do damage, the maces, so be careful of those. But yes, if you train with Bernard, he will teach you a lot about sword skill and a lot about warfare. So I think if you're able to use Bernard as a way to level up your power and overall everything, I think you'd be really good with trying to work with Bernard more, even though if he's a really annoying guy to deal with, even if he's a bit more rough around the edges, you should definitely try and help him out because he will train you quite a lot, and I mean a lot. And what's good about that is because if you train as Henry, Henry will level up with you. That means he will learn more things with you along the way. Because Bernard teaches you about combos and he teaches you about the master strikes. You will need to learn these from him if you ever want to get better at the game in general. Speaking of, the characters in this game are also really beautifully written. Like, let's say Sir Capon. Sir Capon starts out as the guy you absolutely hate. This guy who is spoiled to the brim. He literally has eaten from a silver spoon and a golden platter his entire life. That's what you think of him when you first started the game, because he starts making fun of you when you're trying to shoot bows and arrows at a target. Why do I mention Sir Capon if he sounds like a very awful guy? But when you start doing one mission with him, with the hunting mission you go on with him, you start to see him in a different light. He's a misunderstood character, a person who has been pretty much put a whole lot of weight on through being a blood relative of a lord of Lipa. He being the son of a lord or something similar to that. You'll feel the weight of whatever, like, why he is like this. Like, you can see why he is like this and why he's like so like mean sometimes, because like, he has a lot of pressure on him and he hates it. He doesn't I don't think he even wants to be a lord at this point, because Sir Hanish keeps pressuring him about how nobility matters, how this is like how the life is as a nobleman. And Henry kind of probably has something in common, because his father also had a lot to put onto him as a blacksmith. Like, when his father did not let him go sword fighting because he wanted him to be better at his trade than actually like adventuring. I think that's a really clear similarities with Sir Hans Capon and Henry, because Sir Hans has weight on him to be the best nobleman that Sir Hanish will ever think that he will be. Because Sir Hanish thinks that Sir Capon should be working, like, should be better at this point, should like, not be better at this point. I think that Sir Hanish really put some weight on Sir Capon, so Sir Capon learns to be a better nobleman. Just like Henry's father, who wished that he would be a blacksmith instead of a mercenary or someone who goes around adventuring for most of his life, because he knows how dangerous that trade is. Now there's a few things a few other characters I'd like to mention, but before that, let's just talk about his channel. I mean, I really appreciate you guys for really watching my videos, really enjoying them, really giving me likes, the support. I really love and appreciate all of you for giving me a chance to talk about games or play video games even. Now, I know I usually just play Dragon Ball Legends, but I've been kind of inching away from the game because I feel like I should be focusing on some other things in real life in real time. Other than that, I really appreciate the support you guys have been giving me. Now I'm probably going to be moving a little bit towards game reviews if this does well. If you guys want to watch more of this, please leave a like, please watch the video, please comment what you think I should improve on, comment on what I should do. If you want me to make more of these, like which other video games should I review. But overall, let's go back to the video, and trust me, I really appreciate you guys being here with me and just talking, like not even talking, just like being there watching my videos. It'll feel like someone's actually watching something from my videos. So I really appreciate it. Thank you guys for watching. Let's continue on with the video. Now, another character I'd like to emphasize on is Godwin. Now, Godwin is the best character, along with the best side quest in any video game in history. Now, why do I say this? Because Godwin is a priest. Well, he wasn't always a priest. He went as a mercenary a few years, I think, with an adventurous life before he settled down to become a priest with all the gold he's earned all these years. Now, what makes Godwin very unique is that he has a completely different view on how the world really is than anyone else in the game, I think. Because Godwin, he loves to drink with his people that are at, I think, Marriott. Not Marriott, no. It was an Ushit. He likes to drink with people who are in Ushit. He likes to think different ways to help people rather than just burn them at a stake. This emphasizes on the quest that you are sent to by Sir Hanish to help get rid of a vicar over there, and the vicar was hunting some Wendasians. Instead of Godwin being really, really approving of wanting to kill these people or get rid of them because they're heretics. Like, that's what the game implies, that they're heretics. I mean, these things are heretics in this game. And Godwin instead wants to help these guys, and he wants to give them another chance at life. Now, this also gets emphasized along the one other mission that Godwin actually gives you about getting rid of a witch that has been manipulating a few women to be witches themselves or go along with devilish behavior, worshipping Satan, something like that, to have him grant their wishes or something similar to that. Now, I think that's a pretty clear thing that Godwin actually is, because Godwin is a very, very good priest, because he's not there to kill people, he's there to try and help as many as possible. Unlike a lot of priests we have seen around in the game, Nicholas is also a good priest, like a good monk that actually tries to help the people of Skelet, and he actually tries to help a lot of people. Now, enough of those people, let's get on to a bit worse people in general, like worse characters, but I also like these characters because they are kind of funny to deal with. Sir Kuno, a man who has a band of a full-on mercenary group that he helps Sir Radzik get rid of a guy who's been kind of been a itch on Radzik's side. Now, why do I usually say this? Well, Radzik, I think, is a nobleman that is implied to be a really big role of the character, the story in general. And I actually really like Radzik. He's a jester that is actually really good liege lord to his people, and he is the right henchman for Sir Wenceslas. Because since Sir Wenceslas is the rightful king that Sir Sigismund actually got rid of. Now, why do I want to talk about Kuno? Well, Kuno is not a good guy. He is just an awful all-around person. He actually really doesn't do anything good at all for a lot of people that are not a part of this crew. Why do I say this? Well, he does do a few questionable things. You go with Sir Kuno to a area that's been raided by a bunch of bandits, and instead of trying to help them, he heard that they were drinking and messing around with the bathhouse maids, and not in a good way at all. Not in a good way. That is a bad thing. They're trying to do bad things to these women. And Sir Kuno, instead of going immediately to help like a knight or someone that is really kind and thoughtful and generous, he instead wants to leave them there to be, well, traumatized for probably an entire lifeline. Well, if it wasn't for Henry to persuade him to go attack these bandits before they try anything funny, well, things could have gone out of hand really quickly. Another character I'd like to talk, actually two characters I'd like to talk about. They are not very, very nice people, but you let it go because, well, they're your friends from Skillets. It is Matthew and Fritz, I think, or Matthias and I don't know, Matthew and Fritz, I think, Matt and Fritz. Now, why do I talk about these guys as if they're really bad people? They're your friends from the very first time the scale was right. They're the good guys. They're with you the entire time. They will always be on your back. They'll always do. No, you do not talk about them as if they're really generous and kind people. Why do I say something like this? Well, the wrongdoings of these people is actually going around and trying to steal from a quarry. Now, what's wrong with this in particular is that it's a bad morality for these characters, especially like your own friends, And to be completely fair, I think that it's really disrespectful for these characters to go around stealing from hardworking people. So I think that's why I think they are bad people in general. These people have been working really hard to make their wages, and just a few brigands and like a few like teenage boys go start wreaking havoc just to steal a bit of 3,000 groschen. And 3,000 groschen I could have given him easily, but the game did not let me, which I think should have been a option rather than force them force me to make a decision to help my friends or not. You can actually have two separate endings for this quest. You can actually have went there to cause chaos and just get the money by forcing your way through, or two, you could steal the money instead and take it to Matt and Fritz so that you do not go through the trouble, or three, you snitch on all of them and get them all hanged and killed. That means Andrew, Matt, and Fritz, and all of them are just dead. And it would be because of you, because you snitched on them for stealing from the quarry. I think that ending is the most grim and probably the worst ending of all of them. Now, I would really like to say that Matt and Fritz are really, really good characters. They really want to help you out. You know, they're really good friends for Henry, but they're really bad influences. I think that that's a really good fact that they are actually bad influences for Henry as a character. And I'm really glad that I made Henry in a way that, well, it didn't really kill them. I didn't either kill him, but I really kept him away from doing like rash decisions to just help them with what they wanted and sue chaos on Townburg. I just went to steal it and came back to give it to them so they can work with me in previous levels instead of stealing anymore. Now, I still don't really think I like them because their characters kind of, like, I do like them as characters because it shows how war really changes people in this aspect and regard. Because if Scales wasn't raised, you'd still see Matt and Fritz going around in the mine shaft and start working as the carpenters that they were, and like really helping out people. But after the war, they really went like barrel, like the bottom of the barrel. They had nothing left, and what they wanted to do is steal from innocent men that had done nothing wrong. I think that's a really amazing writing that Warhorse Studios tries to imply that not a lot of people think about a lot, and I don't think a lot of people would enjoy thinking of their own friends the same way that they think about these, like the same way they think about like brigands or bandits. That's why we actually love these characters. We actually want to help these characters instead of kind of punishing them for their sins. I think that's a really great point that the game wants to try and like imply that because they're your friends, you have a really we have a much harder time getting through with something, like not getting through with something than you would with a completely different person that you never met, you never talked to before. That being said, I think one of them is different because, um, what's his name? Pejek. Because the Miller Pejek actually gives you quests that do not involve harming other people, actually involves stealing from wealthy people and noblemen. Matt and Fritz just want to steal from average wage workers, I guess. I don't know who's more broke. I don't know who's more broke, Matt or Fritz now, or the people who are actually working there and risking their lives every single day just to get more stone on the table. I don't even know anymore, bro. Other than that, I think Matt and Fritz are really well thought out characters in general, and I really love how they made them to be in a way that they are really chaotic and were really bad influences for you. Because they're your friends, you have a big willingness to try and help because they all have been there through your childhood and your entire life. So I think the way they built these two characters because of how war changed them so much, I think that's a really amazing way they actually wrote these characters. That being said, Johanka. Johanka, I think, is one of my least favorite characters on this list because I think Johanka is kind of manipulating people in a quest called Madonna of Sasau. Why I think I would like to be talking about this because Johanka is actually getting dreams from some kind of consciousness from a different realm because she was able to figure out that there has been murders happening in Skelet and a lot of people being killed by this one guy on top of like I don't know a mount like a hill or something where he actually stole a lot of things from these people as well, took like a lot of precious materials and armors, and like you also had a human captain's mask over there. And to where the to where that quest leads, it goes to down to a mine shaft where there's a lot of dead bodies in there, and these bodies are not even composed; they were actually pretty fresh. That implies that the killer has been going at it for a few weeks now, and no one has been there to stop him. One thing I have to say about this quest is I think that they could have done much more to imply that Henry is more uncomfortable of doing this rather than him being completely and immediately manipulated by Johanka to do her bidding and do what she wants. Because I feel like saying no is a much better option than saying yes to getting more people to want to kill you and your one friend from Scales that has been there for a long time as well. That also has a crush on Matthias, and Matthias has a crush on her. I think that's a big thing that you want to save her rather than her going into this path of madness where she talks to these people, kind of manipulating them by like not intentionally, but she does that. And around the quest as well, where Yohanka would be imprisoned by one of the I think hierarchy like of priests. I don't really know what his name is, but actually like the priest because he doesn't want to kill Johanka. He wants to prove that everyone has been wrong about her and that she can be returned back into Christianity as he once thought. What's different, however, is that Johanka, instead of saying, yes, I do not want to die and I do not want to do this, she says that I'm willing to die for my faith or like for my words as well. So she kind of manipulated herself at this point to tell her that, oh, Mother Mary will protect me, oh, Mother Mary will do this for me, oh, Mother Mary will keep me, like, I should keep my faith to her because she showed me this vision. I have to tell everyone about it. I have to speak to the people and tell them about how bad the war is and everything. I understand where she's coming from, but the fact that you're willing to die for a cause that's done more bad than word like bad, and you keep trying to persuade her to stop this madness, stop doing this because it's not right. It just not isn't right, and you should just stop this because you will die. You will literally die, and you will not be able to live to save another life. because Johanka loves helping people. I've seen her, and I actually enjoy that part of her, where she goes around helping people of Skells and everyone over there at the Assassin Monastery. I literally see her leaning down to help them every single day. I really enjoy that part of Johanka. But with this quest, it kind of made me feel really uncomfortable around Johanka because she kind of got too into the role of being this huge woman that talks the truth through her mouth or something, and it literally gets close to literally killing her, and she's willing to kill her, let herself to get killed, because she wants to keep her word rather than let it go for another day, or like just let it go complete to help more people. Like, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. Like what Henry's situation is. He didn't want to die. He didn't die because he wanted to help more people. She should have done the same. Maybe like she could have just not died. She could have like kept herself alive to help more people. At the end of the quest, you were able to convince her to stop it and actually like become like go back to where how she usually is. And that was all through the power of friendship, because you go around to all the people you have helped around these years, and they will appreciate what you do for them, and they will try and help to get Johanka out of this mess as well. Oh my god, my throat. I should get some water after this, but overall, the plot, the storyline, and the gameplay of Come Deliverance, I think the gameplay or like the combat system needs a lot of work, but overall, I think this game is a perfect 8 out of 10. I really want to play more of it, and I want to explore more of these quests and side quests and all these in-game lore that I could just like learn about. I think this game has a huge amount of potential, especially the new one coming out. If the new one comes out and a lot of people are playing it and making videos of it, and Warhorse will keep a note of that and make a new sequel for that game in general, I think that would make me incredibly so much happy, because I've had this game and I've been playing this game for a while now, and it's getting a sequel. They're getting more and getting more people getting into it as well. Makes me really happy for what the developers have done and what the developers are continuing to work on this game and continuing to improve their work style. I really love the developers of this game as well. They're really, really, really kind people, really nice people. They will they will do what the people want them to do rather than what the media want them to do, what political views want them to do. I think that's a really good way of showing that you are an amazing developer for a video game, and you should continue doing what you're doing if a lot of people like if all the people approve of it, and not what people are forcing you to do. If you don't want something to be done, do not think that you should be forced to do it. You should actually go fight against this algorithm and show that this is historically accurate. I'm not going to change it because it would be disrespectful to my people. This drama I've heard about really sickens me because, dude, it is their game. They should work on it the way they want. If they want to be making it realistic, you can't have the same things that you have in other games, like what Ubisoft has been trying to do these few years, trying to make their characters like LGBTQ. Now I don't have a problem with that because Ubisoft is more of a fantasy role-playing game than a realistic game. But the fact that they've been trying to imply that it is kind of is weird and has gotten people more into heat with it. Again, I don't really mind this because I really don't think I have played any more Assassin's Creed game other than Odyssey, Vikings, and Origins, or I think some of the old ones like Black Flag. But I just feel like I'm not going to be able to play any more of their games unless I have to review them, of course. Maybe if you guys ask me to review the Assassin's Creed Shadows, I will have to eventually make myself suffer through the game and try and play it the way I always play a game. I think if you guys would want me to do that, I will, but I don't have my eyes focused on that game, like at all. So if you guys enjoyed this video, if you guys think I skipped over a few things, mechanics, and things that you would like me to discuss, leave down in the comments below, like explain what I did wrong in this video. But I think I explained it as thoroughly as I could possibly can, and I've been talking for way too long. So I think instead of yapping for more than 1 hour, I think I should stop right here, leave it for a future thing to do, because from seeing that Kingdom Come Deliverance has been my favorite game ever, like to have been created by Warhorse, and I hope that they continue to make amazing and awesome games that more majority of people will continue to enjoy. Now, thank you for watching. See you next time, if there is a next time, and peace. And I really, really appreciate you guys giving me a chance to be on this platform and give me a chance to really, really, really get in my words of wisdom, or usually just my gameplay in general. So I really, really appreciate you guys watching these videos. Until next time, goodbye.